Before delving into placing the topic statement at the end, we're going to look at placing the topic statement in the first part of the paragraph and the last position of the paragraph. And this method is used to emphasize the leading idea. You want to emphasize the topic statement, the theme of the paragraph, both at the beginning and end of the paragraph. So you do this when it's a very important thought, a thought that is sufficiently important to justify such an emphasis. Now, this is great when you speak. This is great for repeating the subject. It's considered a form of repetition of the paragraph, which we're going to get to more extensively in a later video. But it completes the circuit of thought, and it's very important or commendable to use it in spoken paragraphs, as I mentioned earlier. You notify the listener that the discussion of the point at hand is finished, and that's why it's good. Now, let's look at an example of a topic statement placed in the first and last positions of the paragraph. So the topic statement reads, "The grand reason for paying debt is that we want to strengthen the credit of the state as the cheapest and best of all insurances." Now, this is a paragraph that uses examples rather than particulars and details to make its point. It's stated an assertion, it's given a reason, and now it has to prove it by an example. If anyone doubts that, let him look at the position of the United States. That grand republic has no fleet, and on the water could hardly fight Spain. But she has reduced her debt by strenuous paying. And everyone knows that if she wanted a fleet to blow Spain out of the water or to contest the seas with us, she could buy and complete one in 12 months. So now we're going to repeat the topic statement. Her payment of her debt is an insurance, not only against defeat, but against attack. So the grand reason for paying debt is we want to strengthen the credit of the United States, or the state, and it's an insurance. It gives an example of what kind of insurance, and then it says payment of debt is an insurance again. Let's look at another example. I begin with the postulate that, and now the topic statement, it is the law of our nature to desire happiness. This law is not local, but universal, not temporary, but eternal. Now we're going to talk later about this format of stating what something is not, and then using a but to state what it is. That's a very important contrast. Now, when you state what something is not, you call it negative exclusion, and it helps make a point. It helps make your point stronger. So it's saying this law is universal, not local, and eternal, not temporary. It is not a law to be proved by exceptions, for it knows no exception. And that law is the law of our nature to desire happiness. Now, examples. The savage and the martyr welcome fierce pains, not because they love pain, but because they love some expected remuneration of happiness so well that they are willing to purchase it at the price of the pain, at the price of imprisonment, torture, or death. This format here, imprisonment, torture, or death, is a climax. Each gets progressively worse or progressively intense. Now, another example. The young desire happiness more keenly than any others. The desire is innate, spontaneous, exuberant, and nothing but repeated and repeated overflows of the lava of disappointment can burn or bury it in the human breast. On this law of our nature, then, we may stand as on an immovable foundation of truth. Whatever fortune may befall our argument, our premises are secure. And now he repeats the topic. The conscious desire of happiness is active in all men. This is another example of emphasizing one's point about happiness. We see some other forms of style in here, including personification, but we'll talk about that in a later topic.